We are almost done with our percent increase, percent decrease lesson, and we're just going to apply what we've been doing in our tables to some scenarios, mostly a graph, and talk about how you can calculate percent increase and decrease when you are not given like the kind of stuff we were given in the table where here's the value of your meal and you want to give this tip, but looking at percent increase, decrease from constant numbers. The first thing I want to tell you is if you're doing percent increase and decrease, you're just going to take the old minus the new divided by the old. Now I put absolute value bars up there, so that means whatever you end up with on the top, turn it into a positive number. That's what the absolute value does. So whatever it comes to, if it comes out to a negative when you do old minus new, change it to a positive and then do the division. So that's what those bars mean. So I'll put a little note there. But it does not mean to change a positive answer to a negative. You only do a flip on the signs if it's negative. So you only change negatives to positive. You leave positives as they are. Because if we were being really specific, we could write it whichever one's bigger, put it first, and then subtract the smaller. But a formal way to do that in a shorter amount of space is to say the absolute value. So you could do the bigger minus the smaller for that numerator and you'll never have a sign issue. Or you could just say I'm going to subtract them and flip it positive if it comes out negative. Okay, change any negative. Okay, and when we say old minus new, old is going to be the original or the starting or the older value time-wise, and then new is going to be the more current or the ending or whatever. So let's take a look at the first question we have down here. What year had the largest daily number of barrels produced on shore? This is kind of a complicated graph because it has a couple of bars for each year and you have to figure out which one's onshore, offshore, and so forth. Can anyone tell me how to interpret this? Okay, it says right there, right? And Brenda's reading it. The gray bar, the light gray, is onshore and the black is offshore. Okay? And so which year had the largest daily number of barrels produced onshore? 1990. So when you look at this year, you see that it's onshore, or the gray is the highest bar. And so we know that 1990, if I can write it, 1990 is the year we had the most onshore barrels produced. And then someone read me the next question. Thanks, Mark. Go ahead.
How much oil was produced onshore from 1960 to 1980?
Okay, so how much was produced onshore? So we're looking at just the which color? The gray, from 60 to 80. So can you figure it out?
It's 18,539 by adding all three bars from 1960 to 1980.
Okay, so Aaron's saying add the three gray bar totals, so this one, and this one together. Okay, and so it's 6,643 and 7,082 and 5,114. Add those all together and he's saying that comes to 18,839. Do you agree? Okay, now how would you state your answer? Ah, Brenda got it. She said 18,839,000. Where did she get that? Where does it say that, Kike? Up there on the title, it says thousands of barrels. Very good. So some of you noticed that our units are not in single barrels. They're in thousands of barrels. So you could say it is 18,839,000 barrels, or how could you write that as just a number without having to use the word thousand? So how could I write that answer that we got without having to use the word thousand? How can I make 18,839 into thousands? What, Evelyn? Oh, yeah, you could do it in scientific notation, but I'm thinking just write the number so that people who don't know about that could understand it. Okay, so yeah, it goes like this, 18,839, 000, right? That turns a number into thousands. So 18,000, and now it's 18,839,000 barrels. Okay, good. I like how you guys were thinking through that, and you noticed a lot of information on the graph that I didn't point out. That's very good. Can you do the other questions, do you think, or do you need help? Go ahead and give them a try. If I find one that a bunch of you are getting stuck on, we'll work it together. Formula, let me put that up here for you. The last thing you want to do is multiply by what to convert it into a percent, because it comes out as a decimal. By 100. Good. That will convert it into a percent for you.